RedShark's NAB 2025 coverage is brought to you by...
Hello, welcome to Aputure at NAB 2025. Today we're talking about all the new releases from Aputure and everything you need to know from what came out at Apex, which is our Aputure experience here at the show. So, starting off, we got the XT52. This is a 5200 watt LED. This is the brightest LED ever to date. It is 30% lighter than an M90, which is approximately a 9K HMI. Its approximate brightness is about the same. It uses our BLAIR color engine, which uses blue, lime, amber, indigo, and red to recreate the spectrum of white light. What does that mean? Well, first of all, it means that for the first time in history, one person can now lift and operate an unheard of amount of brightness. This is the first time in history that this level of brightness has been unlocked for one person to operate. Number two, as far as BLAIR goes, what that means is that for the longest time out there, a lot of people have thought about hot lights. They think about tungsten. They say you only use tungsten for skin tones. And for some reason, this makes sense because, again, if you hire Natalie Portman, you want Natalie Portman. You don't want Natalie Portman minus 5% green, right? There's always been a small differential between the color quality of LED and the color quality of tungsten. Well, with BLAIR, we have solved that 100% by recreating the spectrum of white light, not only in the daylight spectrum from using the indigo gel. The indigo filter is basically the last missing piece of actually creating the fluorescence of real natural daylight, but we've also done a spectral match to actual tungsten as well too. So for people out there that want perfect skin tones, perfect 100% Natalie Portman, not minus 5%, the BLAIR engine will be able to solve that. Now, number two, because it is blue, lime, amber, indigo, red, that also means that you also get blue, lime, amber, indigo, red. You're able to recreate parts of the spectrum. So again, not only is this the brightest LED ever, the lightest LED ever for this brightness, one that one person can operate, the best color, but we've also built in an HSI-C mode into here. So if I actually take this fixture and I move it to the side, we're going to take this over, I'm going to pan and roll this down. If I bring this up, you can see right now I'm in full white light mode. However, if I actually dial down to HSI, I can see now that I have a hue mode here. And in this hue mode, you can see I am now getting all the colors of the rainbow here in one place. So in addition to it being a white light, you also get HSI mode as well. And then finally, I think the last thing we want to talk about is that this light here can be powered off of any traditional Honda generator that's about 6,500 watts or up. So again, you now get portable power, the lightest weight fixture, and you get everything all in one device. So this is coming out approximately within the next month. This is shipping then. On the front of this, we've got our parallel beam adapter, which is why you can see it is spotted in so tightly. This gives you a 5-degree beam angle. For everyone out there that's wanted completely parallel light, something like shafts of daylight, or something like a bat signal in the air, this will be able to give you that quality of light that you can use. And it also has a compact Fresnel too. So the CF16 Fresnel, which is our motorized Fresnel, is also coming out in addition with this fixture. So all of that's going to be coming soon for the people that want to know what's new. This fixture here is probably our biggest release of NAB. But beyond that, we're also showing off demos of some of the fixtures that you guys know already. These are fixtures that have gone on to the biggest sets of the world, things like Dune, things like Star Wars, things like Mission Impossible. These are the 1200Xs. Super popular. We know this fixture already. However, we're showing this here today just to go through that BLAIR engine one more time, just so you can really see side by side what the difference is as far as color quality goes. And again, you can really see it in particular with anything that fluoresces, that indigo gel, that indigo LED for things like white fabrics, teeth, hair, skin tones. This is going to give you that last differential of quality. And then finally, over here, this is our second main release of NAB, but we're showing off the ADC. We are launching 3 light kits of the ADC. These are just here down below. And basically, this is the kit that we have all wanted as filmmakers, right? It's 3 lights, all the accessories you need, packed into a hard case that you can fit inside of a car. Now, these days, especially at the ISOs that we're shooting at, for a lot of people out there, for a lot of the E&G crews, for the indie filmmakers, for the people that want an accent lighting kit, product photography, this might be all you need. It does every single color that's capable and possible via the BLAIR CG engine. And the BLAIR CG engine, the reason we're showing it off in this display is because this yellow that you see behind me, from traditional RGB lights in film, this yellow has actually never been possible to date. This is actually a color that, even though prior RGB lights have been able to produce a billion colors, extremely saturated yellows, extremely saturated violets, greens. These are 3 colors that those lights could not produce because they were just not a part of the spectrum. By using the BLAIR CG engine, blue, lime, amber, indigo, red, and cyan and green, we're able to mix all this together to be able to recreate colors that previously were not accessible to filmmakers unless, again, we were crafting some kind of gel solution there. So again, the goal is to remove those limitations. The 80C, the 1000C, the bigger brother of that fixture, and then of course the Storm 80C kit. So if you want all three lights, they all come in one package. These are our point source lights, the XT52 launching this month, all the way from 80 watts all the way up to 5200 watts. As a painter, you now have every single paint swatch. You now have the best color white light, and you've got the best color tunable color. You have access to not only the best skin tones that were not accessible before unless you used hot lights, but you also get access to all of the colors of the rainbow. Anything you can find in nature, you can now paint with as well. So these are the point source lights of Aputure at NAB 2025. Okay, so I think one of the biggest questions we get asked at Aputure is, what is the long-term goal of all these different products, right? You see us releasing all these fixtures. So on the right here, you basically got all of our Infinimats, right? So beyond point source lights, you guys know that we make bulbs, we make basically fixtures like this, which are matte lights. The Infinimats are built to be infinitely expandable in any shape, size, and of course being twice as bright as any standard matte light on set. Over here, you can see the Infinibars, and the Infinibars, again, standard tube lights out there. Our version of this is, instead of a tube light where you're limited by whatever sizes are released, can you make one that's infinitely expandable in any direction? So again, if you're shooting something like a New York fashion runway, or something like, you know, WWE or something where people come out, you want a seamless line, something that basically continues on without that break. Now, all of these tools all together, what they mean is that you now have a full set of paintbrushes of expandable flat light, expandable linear light, and point lights that go from 80 watts all the way up to 5200 watts. All of them, and one of the main things that made Aputure so popular in the early days was we basically took what used to take IT networking, the $80,000 lighting console, and a whole mess of cables and knowledge that filmmakers did not need to learn. We put it all together and built this into SIDUS Link. Every Aputure fixture for the past 7 years now has had a Bluetooth mesh module built into that. What it means is that when you turn on your lights, they automatically find each other. They automatically network all together. And your device, whether it's your phone or your iPad, can just log in, tap into the network, and you now have seamless wireless control so that as an artist, you actually get to work from a place of flow. Now, on here, we're showing off SIDUS Link Pro. We have the SIDUS 1 and the SIDUS 4. For people out there that have wanted things and features that were only available in the lighting console before. Things like, for instance, instantaneous cueing. When my finger moves, I need everything to move in real time. Things like complex lighting sequences, things like cue stacks, things like Wi-Fi level stability. We've now simplified that mess of cables into one device, SIDUS 1 or SIDUS 4, depending on how many devices you need. You now hit one button, and basically you can automatically patch all of your fixtures together in one place. So, SIDUS Link Pro is what we're showing here today. For people that have wanted, again, instantaneous cueing, lighting changes that work immediately. You can see as my finger is changing, the table is changing in real time. I now get full controls and faders of every single one of my fixtures, real time, that I can now control. And if I want to do things like complex lighting effects, I can snap those on as well too. So all these can be built in. You now get a timeline view where I can actually see, and it'll actually show me every single lighting effect I want. So if it's something like main character comes in, turns on a light switch, you know, outside a thunderstorm starts, you can now program all that in just like how you normally would with a nonlinear editor. Now this all together, right? Each of these paintbrushes brings us to what we see as really the long-term Aputure vision for this. And the long-term Aputure vision for this is a little bit of what we're showing behind us here today. At NAB 2025, we've been having AFC cinematographers. We partnered with American Cinematographer. They've been bringing in the greatest artists in the world to actually use this ecosystem live. And what it gives you is it gives you this, every single tool working together as a seamless flow so that you can actually paint and create whatever they want. So we quite literally had DPs coming in, looking at the screen and saying, I want to be in this environment, I want to be in the jungle. And now that I'm in the jungle, I want to paint my light in this way. And we're showing off every single one of the paintbrushes in use, right? You can see our basically point source lights, our Novas up here, you can see our Infinimats, everything is working together. And yesterday, within an hour, one of our cinematographers, Matt Ryan, and then Craig Keefe, they worked together and quite literally shot this movie in under an hour. And it looks pretty good for something under an hour. So again, we want to show basically what it looks like when artists have all the tools that they need, when they're not limited by the technology, when they can actually create at whatever thought they have. And this is something that's super important for us. So this is why we're doing Apex at NAB 2025. This is why we're showing off all of our products in the ecosystem. Again, each release makes the ecosystem better. And then the software that holds it all together, SIDUS Link Pro, it only makes that flow and that ability to control everything better. So That's it. My name is Ted. This is NAB 2025. Again, thanks so much for watching.